Hey there, my name is Cameron, also known as Venus Theory, and today I'm here with ILIO to introduce you to Unify by Plugin Guru and show you around some of its core features and functions. First up, let's answer the big question: what is Unify? Unify is an expansive plugin instrument and standalone application available for both Mac and PC. Unify offers a core library of over 500 presets and over 3 gigabytes of sound, all designed by one of the industry's leading sound designers, meaning that the very first time you open Unify, you're already going to have a pretty expansive palette of sounds to play with or create your own sounds from. Unify also includes 6 instruments and 40 effect plugins, ranging from everything from the Guru sampler to an FM synthesizer to a variety of MIDI effects and reverbs. This makes Unify a powerful environment to work in for everything from your core sounds to massive modern textures and soundscapes to even full-on performances created within a single instance of Unify. Now, all of this sounds really exciting, but it's only scratching the surface of what Unify has to offer. What Unify really offers is a way to create interesting and complex patches using either the Unify built-in library or your own favorite VST or AU format plugins. Ultimately, Unify is a creative environment to explore your favorite tools or the built-in Unify library in new and interesting ways, with things like MIDI and velocity splits, MIDI and velocity fading, creating independent MIDI channels for each layer, transposing the individual layers, turning mono instruments into poly instruments, and a whole lot more. With all that out of the way, let's dig into Unify and explore some of the factory content. So Unify's factory library, if we go into the Browse tab here, covers a lot of ground with everything from cinematic pianos and utility synth patches to expansive dense pads, massive modern synth patches, full-on performances, sequence patches, orchestral and world instrument samples, and just about everything in between. It's a lot of sounds. With that said, let's take a listen to a couple of these patches in action. Now, I think the real power of Unify and where it really starts to shine is when you start creating patches using your own favorite plugins. And patching in Unify is a lot of fun, and it's pretty easy to get started once you understand the basic components of what a Unify patch consists of. To begin, we can start adding layers with the Add Layer button here. So let's go ahead and start with a MIDI layer, and we'll just add an aux effect here. This way we can see everything that goes into a Unify patch. This more or less represents everything you can configure within a Unify patch. Here at the top, we have a MIDI layer, which hosts MIDI insert plugins and appears at the top in brown. Here we've got the instrument layers, which host MIDI, instrument, and audio effects and appear in green. Then below that, we've got the effects layers, which host audio effect plugins and appear in blue. Finally, we've got the master layer, which appears at the bottom of the stack in purple and can host additional audio effect plugins. One of the really cool features of Unify, though, is that it's plugin agnostic, meaning that if you're using a host application that only accepts AU format plugins, you could run Unify as an AU inside of that host application, but you can host VST format plugins inside of Unify running as an AU, allowing you to use plugins that you might not be able to use otherwise in your favorite DAW or host application, which is pretty neat. When creating a Unify patch, you can add up to 24 layers, add an unlimited number of MIDI effects, and create up to 4 aux buses. If you really want to get crazy though, or just need more layers for whatever reason, you can also host Unify inside of Unify. So let's say we ran out of layers here, we could add a new instrument layer. So we'll add an empty instrument layer. We'll go down here to select our instrument. Let's go to Unify Standard Instruments, and we'll run another instance of Unify inside of Unify, allowing us to theoretically access unlimited layers for everything. When you put all of this together, it opens up your favorite plugins in some interesting ways to create sounds that aren't traditionally possible in some DAW or host applications, like those that don't allow you to stack different instruments on a single instrument track. Because remember, we're running this just as one instrument on one instrument track inside of the DAW, but we're stacking multiple different plugins, effects, and different routings all together within this one thing, unifying all of the plugins in one interface, which is pretty cool. This can breathe a lot of new life into your favorite instruments or allow you to maybe dust off something you haven't used in a while and play with it in a new way. Unify also makes all of this pretty efficient because Unify utilizes all the cores of your computer's CPU, allowing you to do pretty big things without really bogging down your processor. So the only real limitation to Unify is your imagination and your computer's processing power. To demonstrate all this, I've created a basic Unify patch here using some of the included Unify instruments and some of my own favorite plugins. So I've got the Blue ARP running here. I've got Dext, which is a synthesizer that's running right inside of Unify. So I've got a patch running there. I've got the Phase mod here. I've got a Filter Max. I've got Water Verb. I've got some Arturia delays. So those are not included with Unify. These are my plugins running inside of Unify. I've got the M Verb, Silky Chorus, another Filter Max, couple Guru samplers, Dune 3 from Synapse, which is running inside of here, again not included but one of mine, and Arturia Pigments up here. So I've got all this put together, I've transposed a couple of the layers, and then I mastered everything with the master effects here with a little bit of overdrive and a limiter just to catch any really loud sounds. So this is a pretty complex instrument, but it only took a couple of minutes to create. So let's take a listen. Plugin Guru's Unify offers a pretty dizzying array of possibilities, both with its included library and with exploring your favorite instruments and effects in some new ways. And we're really only getting started because there are so many other cool tips and features to get the most out of Unify. So be sure to subscribe to the ILIO YouTube channel down below to stay up to date with the latest products and with this new series covering the basics of getting started with Unify.